Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Spirit, and this is my channel. Today, we'll talk about Thanksgiving. Uh, May the words of my mouth, meditation of my soul, be accepted in thy sight, thine sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. I plead the blood. All right. So now, uh, what does Thanksgiving mean to you all? Okay. There are things that we were taught in school that we realized, well, I realized it was a lie. All of it was a lie about uh, Christopher Columbus, the indigenous tribes, and all of this. So I researched. I already know uh, what everything was and what it's not, and because of my research on my uh, ancestry. So I knew from that there was lies. So, okay, this is what it says about Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a significant holiday in the United States, celebrated on the fourth Thursday of November each year. Its significance uh, lies in several aspects. Okay, this is what it says. Okay, Thanksgiving commemorates the harvest feast shared in 1621 by the Pilgrims of Plymouth and Wampanoag people. This event is often considered one of the first Thanksgiving celebrations in the American colonies. The feast was a way for pilgrims to give thanks for a successful harvest. Where do you think that harvest came from and how you harvest? And the support of the indigenous people. They say Native Americans. No, I say indigenous people. Okay. Da, 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 it goes on to say about family, friends. It's a time for gathering with family and friends. We talk about the tradition. Many traditions are associated with Thanksgiving. Uh, Social significance, reflection, and gratitude. Thanksgiving provides an opportunity for people to reflect their blessings, community, and charity. Uh, Modern celebrations, parades, and events, and shopping. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, this is my take on it. Okay? Let me see here. It's supposed to be some more. Okay. Now, what the arrival of Columbus, Christopher Columbus, what was the disadvantages of their arrival for the indigenous people? The arrival of Christopher Columbus in the Americas in 1492 had profound and often devastating consequence for the indigenous populations. Now, here are some of the disadvantages: disease, smallpox, measles, and other European diseases. Indigenous people had no immunity to these diseases, which led to widespread epidemics and high mortality rates. Yeah, thank you, Europeans. It's estimated that diseases introduced by the Europeans caused the deaths of millions of indigenous people. Violence and slavery. Enslavement. Columbus and his men enslaved, you see, that's their gifts. Okay, enslaved many indigenous people, forcing them to work in mines and plantations. The Taino population in Hispaniola, for example, was decimated due to forced labor and brutality. hmm So, what do we have to be thankful for? Okay? Violence. Columbus and his men used violence to subdue and control indigenous populations. This included acts of brutality and massacres. Cultural disruption, forced conversion. Indigenous people were often forced to convert to Christianity, leading to the loss mhm, yeah, of their traditional beliefs and practices. Same as my ancestors from Mali and these other places that I think is East Africa or North Africa. Yeah, this is the same thing that happened to these ancestors from Africa. Imposition of European customs. hmm They still trying to do it, y'all. European customs, languages, and governance systems were imposed on indigenous societies, disrupting their way of life. Land disposition, that's another gift. Well, Christopher Columbus gave indigenous people. Okay. Loss of ancestral lands. Indigenous people were often forcibly removed from their lands, which were then claimed by European settlers. This led to displacement and loss of traditional territories. Economic exploitation, resource extractions. Europeans exploited the natural resources of the Americas, often at the expense of indigenous populations. This included the extraction of gold, silver, and other valuable resources. The arrival of Christopher Columbus marked the beginning of a long period of colonization and exploitation that had lasting negative impacts on the indigenous community across America. Okay, let's see here. There's other question here, and these are other questions that I put and then I looked up research on this. Did the indigenous people teach the arrivals how to survive in winter? Yes, indigenous people played a crucial role in helping European settlers survive in their first winters in a new world. The Wampanoag tribe, in particular, taught the Pilgrims how to plant crops, fish, hunt, and gather food. In some places, you are going to see that the Europeans did this. and they harvested these things. They didn't know how to do that since they did not know how to plant food and gather food, okay? The pilgrims taught the pilgrims how to plant crops, fish, hunt, and gather food. They showed them how to plant the three sisters, corn, beans, and squash, and how to use fish as fertilizer. They also taught the settlers how to smoke and dry meat and fish, which was essential to preserving food through the winter. Now, without this knowledge and assistance of the indigenous people, the European settlers would have struggled to survive in the unfamiliar environment. This cooperation was vital for the early success of the colonies. Now, my ancestors gave the European people this, but the European people, this was the beginning of the end of my ancestors. So, again, I will ask you, what do we have to be thankful for? Celebrating Thanksgiving? No, we do not celebrate Thanksgiving anymore. And we haven't in a long time. We just get together, our family, just like any other day, trade recipes and different things, and enjoy our family. And that is what my daughter and I will do this Thanksgiving. So, what are you thankful for? This information is given out for people to realize exactly what Thanksgiving signifies, and you do not want to celebrate what it signifies. So I will say again, thank you, and please share this information that I gave. And I will see you again, and I love you all, and thank you for supporting me. And again, this is Dr. Spirit, and I'm out. Thank you so much, and namaste. See you again soon. Okay.